Episode 244. It's not about you, learning not to take it personally. Well, hey there, friend. Welcome to another episode of the Not Your Average Autism Mom podcast. I am your host, Shannon Urquiola, and I am so glad that you're here today. I just want to let you know, I know how full your days are, so I try to keep each of these episodes short, real, and definitely worth your time. I try to keep them all at 20 minutes or less. Some are a little longer, some are a little shorter. But today I am diving into something that, if I'm being honest, every one of us struggles with at some point on this journey. And that is not taking our children's behaviors or words personally. Because when you love a child like ours, and they say or do things that cut really deep, it's easy to let your heart lead the story. And that story usually sounds something like, what did I do wrong? Or, why would they say that to me? But what if you could start seeing those moments differently? What if you could remind yourself that their behaviors aren't a reflection of you? They're simply a reflection of how hard it is to be them in that moment. That's what we're talking about today. And I want to start with something that, is hard to admit, but it's important to say out loud. And that is, even when we know that they don't mean it, it still hurts. When your child screams, I hate you, or slams the door, or says something cruel in a meltdown, our brains don't just hear words. We hear rejection, and that makes us feel hurt. Our nervous system goes into defense mode. And before we know it, we're either shutting down, fighting back, or replaying those words over and over again in our head, wondering where we went wrong. But what I've learned through a lot of practice and a lot of pain is that when you take it personally, you lose perspective. And when you lose perspective, you stop being able to help. Their behavior isn't about us. It's about what's happening inside of them. And this episode was actually inspired by one of our members, Emily. She shared in our private community that her daughter had started yelling, I hate you, Mom, during her meltdowns. And she said, I know she doesn't mean it, but it still hurts. And you know what? I felt that because I've been there too. Her honesty was such a reminder of how many moms needed to hear this message right now. So if that's you, if your child's words or behaviors leave you feeling hurt, sad, or defeated, please know you're not alone. And that's what we're talking about today. And I can honestly say that many of us have been there, me included. Jordan has said the worst of the worst through the years. There were times that his fight or flight response came out as yelling things I never imagined would come out of his mouth. And I had to learn slowly and painfully that if I took it personally every single time, I would live in constant heartbreak. He's also said these things to the staff at his day program. And that's why I want to tell you something else that was really important. Other people sometimes need that same reminder too, right? Anytime you start with a new teacher or a new provider, I would always have that same conversation up front. I'd say, I want you to know when he's dysregulated, he might say some pretty awful things. Please don't take his words personally. And what he says in dysregulation are not words that we as a family condone or that we use in our family. His words in those moments are about the state that he's in, not our values. And I did that because I wanted them to understand that his words were not his character. And that's such an important distinction for them and us as parents. Honestly, those conversations have saved some relationships in our life. So think about it. Why do we take it personally? Because we're human, because we love them, because we give everything we have every single day. And it feels unfair to be on the receiving end of their hardest moments. And often we make those moments mean something about us. I must be doing something wrong. I can't handle this. I'm a bad mom. But that's where we get off track because their behavior is not commentary on your worth as their mother. And the truth is, as their mother, we are generally the closest person to them, the one they love and trust the most. And unfortunately, Mama, I'm just being real here. You are going to get their worst sometimes. The parts they often won't display to other people. That's just the reality. And not an easy one, but an honest one. And here's the shift. Behavior in dysregulation is nervous system plus capacity plus context. It's not character. It's not intention. It's not a mirror held up to your worth as a mom. When you take it personally, you pile meaning on top of the moment. She hates me. I'm failing. Everyone thinks I'm a bad mom. And when you make it mean those things, your body reacts. Fight, flight, or freeze. You get loud, you shut down, you over-explain, or you plead. And that almost always escalates the situation. When we don't take it personally, we get access to calm choices. Protect, guide, and move on. It's a communication of struggle. It's their nervous system saying, I'm overwhelmed. It's their brain saying, I don't have the skills to handle this right now. And when you can remember that, you respond from compassion instead of shame. I like to think of it like this. When your child is dysregulated, they're the storm. You're the anchor, Mama. And you can't anchor a storm by yelling at it. That's where this tool I want to share with you comes into use, is in the heat of it, right? And I call it pace yourself. It's just a simple reminder in those heated moments. Think about pace. P, pause your story. Notice what you're making it mean. I'm telling myself that this means that she hates me. A, attend to safety. That's always important, whether it's words or behaviors. Attend to safety. Everyone is safe. Do I need to lower the demands or do I need to step away in this moment? C, co-regulate. Fewer words, softer tone, slow your body down. And the E is explain later. When everyone's calm, when the storm passes, that's when you teach, not in the middle of the chaos. Because in dysregulation, the goal isn't calm. It's safety and recovery, always. And for our members, because I know some of you are going to want to save that PACE reminder somewhere that you can see it when things get hard. So I put together just a little one-page visual that you can print or save it on your phone. You'll find it in the member portal. And also I put it in the files section of the Village Facebook page. It's called PACE, P.A.C.E. yourself. And it's just a quick reset for those hard moments. So grab it, keep it close, and use it when you need a reminder that your child's storm isn't about you. It's just a moment to anchor through. So I want to walk through what this can look like in real life. Let's just say that your preschooler says, I hate you. You're the worst. You could respond by saying, you're really mad right now, and I'm right here. We can be mad and safe at the same time. And then later, when they're calm, you can say, next time you need to say, I'm mad instead of I hate you. Hate is a really strong and mean word, and we don't use that in our family. If they repeat the phrase, give them a substitute script. You might say something like, I need a break. Is that what you mean? Too loud. Is that what you mean? Don't talk. Is that what you mean? Or maybe you have a non-speaking child that throws their iPad or the remote or they scream. You might simply say, too much? Do you need a break? You can use a visual cue for a break or their AAC device and show them what to do instead, like squeezing a pillow or moving to a calm space. And then later, you can use those visual supports or model on their AAC device to label feelings and needs and practice that replacement action again when everyone is calm. Or maybe your teenager yells, "You ruin everything. You're so stupid." Well, you might want to try, "You're really upset about what just happened. I'm not going anywhere." And then later, you could say, "You can be mad or angry, but those words aren't okay. But let's talk about this and let's figure out what part of this felt unfair so that I can understand." Those words cross a line. Next time you need to say something like, "This isn't working," or "I need space." And your consequence today is losing, whatever it is for the words or the behavior that they used. And next time, I hope that you'll work on using your words for what you're feeling. Every time you respond this way, you're showing your child that you can hold both boundaries and understanding, right? Think about like a young adult, right? That's maybe in a day program and they're angry and they're using profanity and personal attacks when their demands are high. These are some of the things that you could share with their staff. I hear you and I'm not taking this personal. Oh, I can see that you're mad. Let's switch to plan B. We're going to set a timer for 3 minutes and then we'll try again. And again, just debrief later with the same two truths. Your words were not okay, and you were over your limit. We can hold on to both. That's what teaches emotional regulation, not lectures, not punishment. We want to teach them emotional regulation by modeling what we want to see. And I want to share a quick story. This actually just happened a few weeks back. One of Jordan's staff called me because Jordan was upset and he was saying very mean things to her. And I can't remember exactly what it was that day, but she said, "Shannon, I finally just stopped in the hallway and I looked at him and I said, 'You know what? You're probably right. I probably am.'" And she said, "He looked at me like a deer in the headlights." And that was the end of it. Now, this staff member I know very well, and she has raised a house full of boys. So nothing he says gets to her. But it was so funny. And we laughed. And I told her that I was going to start using that one at home when he got mad at me. I just thought that that was perfect. But, all I could think of was in that moment when she told him he was right. He realized, well, she isn't going to be mad that I'm saying it if I'm right. Like he didn't know what to do. And, I don't know really, but y'all, we have tried everything with Jordan to stop this behavior. And while it has definitely lessened, we're still dealing with it at 29. So I want to be clear. None of this means that you let things go or you pretend that words don't hurt. You can still have clear, firm boundaries. You can say, "I love you, but we don't talk that way in our family." It's about tone and it's about timing. You hold them accountable after the storm is passed, not in the middle of it, because you can't reason with a brain that's in fight or flight. Now, I want to give you just kind of 5 reminders for you when it just cuts extra deep. First thing is, it's not about respect, it's about regulation. Dysregulated brains say wild things sometimes. Your job is to keep things steady, not to win the debate. Second thing is proximity beats paragraphs. Don't engage. Don't try to reason with them. Don't tell them why you're right and they're wrong. Stand nearby only if that's necessary to keep them safe. If you can leave and they're safe, that's what I recommend you do. The third thing is predictability lowers fire. So announce the next steps and the boundary in one sentence. It's bath time, feet on the floor, and then we'll do music. Just navigate to the next thing. And number 4, the lesson lands after the nervous system resets. So that's when the repair and real teaching happens. And number 5, boundaries still stand. We don't use hate words here. Consequence can be quiet and consistent, no shaming or no lecture needed. And something that I hear a lot is, but if I don't take it personally, won't I be a doormat? Nope. This is what I want you to remember. Neutral doesn't mean permissive, it means sturdy. You can be kind and firm at the same time. You're mad. I see that, but you may not call me names. If you do, you're losing this privilege today, or whatever the consequence is. You can be mad and safe. Throwing things makes it unsafe. You can squeeze the pillow or put your hands in your pockets, your choice. But we don't throw things. And here's some suggestions for you, some self-talk in the moment. Tell yourself, this is a storm. This is not about me. Or it's a capacity issue, not a character issue. My job is to be the thermostat, not the thermometer. And these are a couple things that sometimes these tiny tweaks can help. Use a when, then, and a visual timer. So when the timer beeps, shoes on, and then we're going to the car. Or if maybe there's a public meltdown, maybe you're in the grocery store, move to the edge of the store where the lights are lower, sounds are lower if possible, and, just narrate to them. We're going to leave the cart now. I've got the keys. We're going to open the door and get in the car. And if you think that it's demands that are setting them off, offer choices that keep the goal. So you could say something like, do you want to shower now or after that song? Do you want the door open or closed? And here's the amazing thing. When you really stop taking it personally, you start to notice a difference, both in you and in your child. You'll see less escalation. You'll stop fueling the fire with your own hurt. And trust me, I did that for years. And your child learns their way back, right? They learn that they can be mad and you still love them. And you're going to find more stamina. You'll stop wasting energy on feeling blamed. And instead, you'll focus on what your child needs. You save energy for actual teaching, not defending yourself. And what you'll find is that your connection will become stronger because they start to learn that even in their hardest moments, you're still there. You're still safe. And you always love them. That's what regulation feels like for them. That's what peace feels like for you. There was a season when Jordan's go-to was a string of words that I would not even repeat on this podcast. It was his fight or flight language. Together with his staff, we tightened our plan a little bit. We used fewer words in the moment. There was a predictable reset plan and consistent consequences later. I kept reminding every new staff member, you cannot take it personally. It's not about you. And over time, like I said earlier, the frequency has dropped, not because we argued him into respect, but because his nervous system learned that he was safe, that the boundary was firm, and there were consequences for his actions. So here's something I encourage you to do. Every time your child says or does something that hurts you, pause and ask yourself, what story am I telling myself right now? And then I want you to replace it with a truer one. Like, this isn't about me. She's struggling right now. She's not attacking me. And if you're like Emily and your kid is out, is trying out the I hate you, pick a replacement phrase and practice it when she's calm. I'm mad, or not yet, or I need a break, or I'm overwhelmed. And then praise them like crazy the first time that they use it. Write it on a sticky note if you need to. Put it on your bathroom mirror or your car dashboard. You'll be amazed at how much lighter your days feel when you start reminding yourself, it's not about me. You're not failing because it hurts sometimes, mama. You're human. And you can learn to stand steady in the storm without carrying every word home in your heart. And real quick, before we wrap up, in case you didn't see the announcement on social media or you haven't heard yet, I am writing a book. It's called Loving Through the Unexpected: Finding Strength, Surrender, and Acceptance Parenting Autistic Children. And I want you to know that this book is straight from my heart. It's filled with honest stories and lessons learned and those moments that changed everything for me as a mom. It's a love letter to all of you who are walking this road with me, a reminder that, while motherhood doesn't always go as planned, it can still be full of strength and surrender and acceptance. So, if you're not following us, be sure to follow us on social media: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, for all the behind the scenes and updates and sneak peeks and release details as Loving Through the Unexpected makes its way into the world. I can't wait to share it with all of you in 2026. Every week, I am here because I know how hard this can be. And I want you to know that you are never walking this road alone. If you want to go deeper and connect with some other amazing moms on this path, check out our private membership where, that's where we have real conversations and support and coaching that are all waiting for you. And hey, if this episode made you feel seen or inspired or just a little more equipped to take on the day, I'd love it if you would leave a review and share it with another mom who needs to hear it. The more we share, the more moms we can lift up and help see that happiness is possible on this parenting journey that none of us planned, but we're learning to embrace. All right, my friends, until next week, have a great week ahead. And above all, remember, you, mama, are doing amazing at this mom thing.